Hi, friends. A good start to the stream. Good start to the stream. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. I'm feeling fucking fired up today as I continue to watch my subscriber count fall and my followers leave. Here is my big ol' fuck you to all the Katies out there. I see you, Katie, and this one's for you. Okay, guys, stream today. We got a lot of stuff going on. I wanted to do another solo stream because, again, I feel like I've learned a lot. And from so many of my Black friends, I'm hearing we're tired of educating. And I think that it's our time as allies to take over to further education as much as we can. So I'm planning on doing that. But yes, I will be continuing having guests on the show tomorrow. Janine the Machine is coming on. Janine Bryce, very happy to have her, and more guests in the future. And I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for being with me at this time. I know it's a different time of the show today, and I'm happy that you guys are able to join me here live at the Roxy. Today, I made lists. I know that yesterday we did kind of a looser stream talking about what I've learned this week and what you guys have learned this week. And I got some constructive feedback from some of you guys that it was great and it was a great dialogue and conversation, but you want tangible steps. And I'm here to give those today. So I made a checklist of 6 things that I do and 6 things that I try to look at a checklist and see how many of those I'm doing every day and what I can do. Then I also am giving 7 things that I have learned, specific things that I have learned throughout this movement, and then 6 ways to help moving forward. So hopefully that's helpful. We will still have a dialogue, of course. I'm going to be taking super chats and Streamlabs and talking to you guys here in the chat, and any questions you have, we definitely will try our best to get to every and anything. I also sent a link. I have friends that are at the protests right now, and I sent a link to them to the show. I don't know that they'll be able to join in, but I thought it would be kind of cool if we were able to see live footage of what's going on at one of these peaceful protests. Again, not positive that they're going to be able to do that, but we will see. I'm going to just say, let me know. Hope it's going well. Okay, so that's the run of show for today. Let's get into it, starting with our very first super chat. He's back on track. It's Larry Lees who says, guys, hit that like button. Do it for Katie. Guys, this is all for Katie. We're pushing back against Karen's daughter, Katie. You guys know. I'm so sorry, Katie Robinson. You're amazing. Hey, dude, they swear it's not me. You're the good Katie. For anybody who missed the stream yesterday, we have found the new Karen. She's Karen 2.0, but she's not basic. She's racist. And her name is Katie. So not our Katie, not our dear Katie here, but that Katie. And now we've just labeled it Katie's, but nothing against our Katie. You guys feel me? That is what is happening. It could be confusing. No hate for our girl, Katie. We adore her. She's amazing. All of you guys are that are still here. Again, the people that are leaving, fuck them. That's how I feel. That's really in my heart and soul how I feel. Fuck them. Go suck a dick. That's remember Josh McCook getting upset for me saying suck my dick? So I said suck a dick. Not mine. Just one in general. All right, guys, let's get into it. I'm going to start with a checklist, things that I look at every day to see if I'm doing right now during this time. And you guys, I would love to hear what's on your checklist. What isn't on my checklist that should be there? And this doesn't mean that I'm doing all of these things on the checklist. This is just, I check in and I see, am I hitting a few of these every single day? I don't want a single day to go by in which I am not doing one of these things in my life. And I'm hoping that it can help you guys figure out what you can do, because we all have different abilities right now and different resources that we can tap. And that sometimes is financial and that sometimes is time consuming. So there's all different things. So this is not a judgment. And this is not me saying you need to hit all of these every day, as I do not do that either. But that is the ultimate goal of this time. Wow, what just happened with her voice? Of this time. And that's what I want to talk about. So here we go on this checklist. So, number one, the thing that I think everybody knows about. This isn't reinventing the wheel. It's donating. There's so many resources out there that tell you where to donate. There's some really massive funds, like Black Lives Matter has their own fund, or George Floyd's Memorial Fund, which has raised, I think now 7 million or something like that, which is incredible. Minnesota, there's so many and tons of resources out there. We also obviously here raised money for Philando Castile's fund for Feed the Children. And you can check out any one of the people that you trust's streams right now and where they're putting their donations, and also Instagram posts that break down for you where you can go. NAACP has a great legal defense fund as well. So looking into that, and yeah, that's a great thing to do. Actually realized that I have 7 things on my checklist. So I said 6, but it's 7. Numbers change all the time, and sure, we're just going to go with that. So where are you donating? And some days that's going to mean donating $2, $5, $10. And some days that might mean you are able to donate $100, or you are doing very well, you're able to donate $500. Something that I think is a great thing to do is either talk to your friends and see who will match your donations. Hey guys, I'm planning on donating $50 today. Who will match that? Or, I saw something I saw my brother's wife doing. I'm willing to match your donations up to $300. Or I saw Maud Garrett did this. I'm willing to match your donations up to $300. So send me proof of your donations and I will match that. Or something my brother's wife did, for everybody who responds to this post, I will donate $5, saying hashtag Black Lives Matter or whatever. There's so many ways. Also, there's a lot of companies that will match donations. Now, I don't know that this is fully legal, what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway, and you guys can deal with whatever you want on this one. There's companies like Google who will match their employees' donations right now. And if you have friends who work for them, maybe you want to Venmo your friends and your friends can put that donation in and then Google will match it. Or if you work for Google, again, there's a lot of companies that are doing that. So donating, whatever you can. I know that this is a tough financial time for a lot of people, but we know that finances need to be backing this movement. It can't just be voices. It's got to be funds. And there's so many ways to do that depending on what you're really focused on, whether it's again, feeding the children, defunding the police, funding the protesters, trying to get peaceful protesters out of prison, educational systems, and changing the systemic racism as much as we can with our money. So those are all different things that you can be doing. Yes, so donating, that is the first thing. And I know that a lot of you guys already have done that, and I would recheck in every week with yourself, every day with yourself. What can I donate today, if anything? That is just one way. And if you do not have the financial means right now, then you don't have it. And that's something that you cannot do. So we will go to number 2, which of course is protesting. This is not going to be something that you are able to do. Well, you could try to protest forever, but hopefully we don't need protests like this forever. But protesting. Now, this is one that's complicated because, as you guys know, me taking care of my grandparents, I have figured out that I cannot be in the heart of these protests right now with COVID running rampant. I don't mean running rampant in the protests. I mean in general, the fact that we're on stay at home. A lot of us with low immune systems and pre-existing conditions, or people who are taking care of the elderly, might not be able to go protest. But I've been seeing there's a lot of ways that you can still protest. And these are things that I'm participating in and planning on participating in. So I got some ideas from Violet Davis and Octavia Spencer that, you can protest responsibly, or whatever you want to call it, social distancing. You can be on the outskirts. You can try to protest in your car, drive-bys, make signs. You can hold out the window. If protests are coming through your neighborhood, you can stand outside your apartment or whatever with a sign out the door. If you've got water bottles in your fridge, you can try to give those to the protesters. So there's a lot of different ways that you can try to protest. And if you are somebody who is young and is healthy and is not taking care of, is not a caretaker, then risking it might be, and I would say probably is, worth the risk right now. Putting yourself on the front lines of anything can be dangerous, and I can't tell anybody what to do, but I will say that do what you can, because right now there are tens of thousands of people in LA alone that are protesting, and in this and there are people protesting in all 50 states. There are hundreds of thousands of protesters. So if you can join the protests and just straight up join them, do keep in mind you want to try to wear a mask at all times. The best analogy that I heard the other day was, it's kind of like if you're peeing on somebody. Stick with me for a second. If you and I are standing next to each other and I have no pants on and you have no pants on and I pee on you, I'm going to get wet and you're going to get wet. If you and I are standing next to each other and you have pants on and I pee on you, you're going to get a little less wet. If I'm standing next to you and I have pants on and you have pants on and I pee on you, you're not going to get very wet. And that's kind of like what masks are doing. So make sure you're wearing masks. Make sure you're trying to social distance if you can, and being respectful of other people as much as you can, and washing your hands and not touching your face, which masks protect you from doing also. So make sure that you are trying to do it as responsibly as possible. But protesting is number 2. Let's pause with the checklist of 7 things that I'm looking at every day to see how many I'm doing, and go to Sonia Freemuth, who is in there in the super chat, who says, "Hi, Roxy. Just want to say I love what you're doing. I love that you raise awareness in this difficult time." Thank you, Sonia. And I'm going to continue to try and going to just keep on doing it, because it's actually on my list. But this is not, well, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but I'm going to keep on doing this because that's what we have to do right now. So protesting, number 2. Number 3, am I using my social media? So am I socialing things out? Now, this is something that cannot be done alone. This can't be the only thing you do on your checklist, but it's a great way to show awareness and support, and for other people to see where you stand. And, I want people who don't want to post about this, who don't speak up, to be in the minority. So whether it's Blackout Tuesday with the black square, or you're seeing somebody post something about donation links and you're retweeting it, or if there's a beautiful black artist and you want to post what they're doing, these are all great ways to use your social media. And pretty much we all have social media. So whether you have 5 followers or 5 million followers, somebody will see that and it will leave an impression. So retweeting, imagery, you want to make sure that you are using your social media for good right now. There's so many evil things about social media, and this is actually one of the really positive things. So if you are on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, use it to link things, use it to educate, use it as much as you can. So are you using your social media for good? Make sure that is part of your checklist. Again, checking in with you guys in the super chat. Larry Lee says, even in the midst of the horror, thanks for adding some enjoyment to my day. I'm glad I'm able to do that, Larry. And you guys add enjoyment to my every day. So I appreciate you saying something, and all of you guys for being here in general. Okay, continuing the discussion. Oh, in the streamlabs.com/Roxy Strider, Weston Ira says, while these snowflakes who unsubbed have their tantrum, they'll be back. I really want to know what is going on with this anti-Biden. What is happening with her voice? I'm losing it because I've been screaming so much. With this anti-Biden vibe coming from some Dems from a very different time. He may be ignorant, but obviously his heart is in the right place. Yeah, Weston Ira, I just think he doesn't have his finger on the pulse as much as a lot of people want him to. And he's not as progressive as a lot of people want him to be. And sometimes he makes remarks that are rude. And borderline racist. So that's where that's coming from. Again, he has my vote because it's him or Trump, so he's got my vote. But that's the challenging thing. You got to. That's the challenging thing. That is the challenging thing. All right, guys, going back to the list. So we've said donate, protest, social out. The fourth is amplifying Black voices. Now, this is part of socialing out, but it's also word of mouth, and it's also any other platform you have, sharing things with your friends, amplifying Black voices. How do you do that? So if you know a Black singer, a Black painter, a Black entrepreneur, a Black influencer, a Black athlete, a Black whatever, Black person, and they are trying to get the word out there about something, you help. And you use whatever you have available to you. And if that's not social media, that's you call your friends and say, hey, have you seen this? And if it's not that, then and you're at family dinner and you say, I want to show you something. Amplify Black voices. This is one that is just becoming clear to me and something I have not been doing enough of my entire life. And I am woke the fuck up. I guess that's where woke come from. I'm awake. I woke the fuck up and I am ready to amplify Black voices. And that's something that we have to do here. So that is the fourth one. The fifth one is really challenging. We talked about this a little bit the other day. And you guys had some questions on it, and I bet we're going to continue to talk about it. But this fifth one is shut down racism when you see it or you hear it. Shut down racism when you see it or you hear it. That is essential. If somebody says something racist, you have to call them on it. Again, doesn't mean that publicly shaming them is the best way to do it, but they cannot think that you are okay with them saying something racist because you're not, or you shouldn't be. And so if nobody calls them on it, they're going to think they can continue to spread hate. Or maybe they don't even realize what they said was racist or what they did was racist. So we need to use our voices literally to explain what happened and why you are not okay with that. So use your voice to talk about racism. And when you see it, call it out. Weston Ira adds a good point without putting yourself in physical danger, of course. So this does not mean if you are in the middle of a physically violent situation to do something that causes further harm to yourself or somebody else. But in general, when we see racism, it's not as direct as it is in the movies. People will make small comments. And those are the ones you really need to nip in the bud because those are the people who are borderline, who we can still get through to. So yes, Weston, good call. Do not put yourself in a situation where you feel like you are going to get physically hurt or somebody else is. But other than that, you have to call out racism and you have to talk about it. So that is number 5. Number 6, we talked about this also before, but just to be clear, reach out to your Black friends and support them. Reach out to your Black friends and support them. That's a pretty simple one. That doesn't mean every single day you need to reach out to the same one Black friend you have. But first of all, get Black friends. In general, you should try to have friends of all different religions, races, sexual orientations. It just makes you a better version of you and more aware of the world. And it's important and good. And you need different types of friends, but support your Black friends. They're the ones closest to you. They're the ones that are easiest to support, theoretically. And number 7, of course, this last one on my checklist is petitions. At this point, I feel as if I've signed all the petitions, but I'm going to continue to look because new petitions pop up every day. These are things that really matter and are ways to have your voice be heard right from your home. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. Each petition takes about 15 seconds. And you want the government to be able to look at the amount of signatures and people to be able to see, wow, 150,000 people believe that George Floyd's officers should all be arrested. Wow, 200,000 people believe that Breonna Taylor's case should be reopened. Whatever it is, you want to be signing these petitions. It actually makes a difference, and it's the easiest of these things to do. So running down this list one more time: donate, protest, social out, amplify Black voices, shut down racism when you see it or you hear it, reach out to your Black friends, and sign these petitions. Those are 7 things on my checklist that I'm looking at every day. Did I do this today? And I'm trying to hit, today. So today I will hit donate. Today I will hit social out. I will hit reach out to my Black friends to support them. And those are 3 that I know I will hit. If I have to shut down racism today, I absolutely will. And if there's any more petitions that I haven't signed that I've seen, I will absolutely do that also. And amplifying Black voices. I don't have a Black co-host on the show today, so I haven't fully amplified a Black voice yet, but I am planning on it with my social media, and continuing to retweet and repost. I did retweet and repost. Lem Gonzalez did an amazing thing for AfterBuzz. He wrote this poetry, and it's over a video, which is pretty incredible. So yes, I did do that one. So 4 of them I've already hit today. And we got to try to make it as close to 7 every day right now that we can. What's on your guys' checklist? Did I miss something? Is there something that you guys are checking in with yourselves every day and seeing what you can do? Curious what you guys' thoughts are. Let's see. Jeremy Miller says having more friends of color is never a bad thing, but support them. Yep, agreed. Definitely agree. All right. Let me know again if I missed something, if there are things that are on your checklist that I haven't talked about. That's what we need to know. Let's see. Going into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Glenn Caesar says, hello, Roxy. Much love to you and all the Rockstars band for your ongoing support of Black Lives Matter. I hope that you all have the best Saturday that you possibly can. Please use this how you see best fit for yourself and or for the cause. You can decide. Glenn, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and I will do that. You rock, Glenn. Thank you. Nikki Therese says, I love this checklist so far. I love the people who are offering a skill that they have in exchange for BLM donations, like artists doing caricatures. You never know what people would be willing to give a donation for. That's a great one too. That's a great way to donate when you have a special skill, which a lot of us do. Whether you're a singer and you can do covers for donations, or you're an artist and you can do paintings for donations, or you, I don't know, are a therapist and you didn't do therapy for donations. I don't even know if that's legal, but all of these things are great things to think about. What are your skills and how could you make a little extra money so that you could donate some of it, or add a $5 fee for everything you're doing and say that goes, because I know we have to pay our rent still too, but add a little bit of a fee and say that percentage will go to this cause or whatever, any of that. Nikki Therese, that's a great call. Thank you so much for adding that. I appreciate it. Craig Edgedill says, sorry if I butchered your last name. Craig Egdill. Hey, Roxy, following events on social media from Scotland, amazing to see people coming together in the protests and online. However, every good message has idiots responding who appear to be blind to reality, common sense, and logic. How to overcome that? These are things that I'm doing to overcome that, putting positivity out there. All we can do is drown out the idiots who are responding with hate. And, that's hard. It can be challenging, but stay firm in your beliefs and put out love and support for BLM as much as you can. And that will make sure that we're drowning out that hatred and stupidity. So yes, those are some things. Let's move forward, guys. Let's talk about the 7 things that I've learned this week. I've learned so many more than fucking 7 things this week, but these are some that stand out to me. This first one is something I already knew, but I feel like I've had to relearn this and teach a lot of my friends this. So different Black people have different beliefs. So if one of your Black friends is okay with something, that does not mean that all Black people are okay with it. This is something that happens. My closest understanding of this personally is this is something that happens with Jews. Somebody will ask me a question about being Jewish, and I'll give one answer. And then somebody else would have a totally different answer because we have different beliefs, feelings, levels of dedication, personal experiences. So you can't just know one Jew and then expect to understand Judaism. So obviously being Black is not a religion, but a lot of people will ask one Black person one thing and think that that is law. And that's not the way that it works. It's not how it happens. So you can't do that. You got to check in with multiple people, or you have to take everything that people say, not with a grain of salt because it still matters, but into consideration. What could somebody else think about this? One of my Black friends might be okay with this, but another might not. One of my Black friends might have experienced something like this, but another one of them might have not. So remember that not one Black person speaks for all Black people. That is how that works. Moving forward, number 2, quoting MLK can be offensive. This is one that I feel like I have to say out loud because I never realized that quoting Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. could be offensive. I think that a lot of us believe that he has been such an amazing voice, amazing Black voice for so many years. Even after his death, he's just this incredible person and voice in the community. That is true. However, as many of my friends, specifically my Black friends, have pointed out to me, he was murdered. So when you tell somebody, when you quote Martin Luther King to somebody, and you're saying peaceful quotes or anything about riots or whatever it is, you're using it as a suggestion for them to be one way, the implication is, and then it doesn't matter if you're murdered. So be very careful. I heard Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter talking about this. And I've heard a lot of my friends talking about this. He's not really ours to quote. So, and by ours, I mean allies or non-allies, even fucking worse. So it's not the only person you can get quotes from. It's not always appropriate to quote him, and it's definitely not good to use his quotes to tell your Black friends how to operate during this time. So it can be offensive and it can be wrong. So just keep that in mind. Number 3, not to ask Black people how they're doing during this time. We went over this one a little bit already, but how are you holding up? Are you hanging in there? And how are you doing? Are 3 phrases to try to avoid right now. Because no shit, they're doing shitty. Their people are getting murdered. Who the fuck would be doing well right now? And they're exhausted. And many of my Black friends right now who've been protesting are passing out because they're not having enough water and they're walking for miles and they're not eating properly and they're getting shot with rubber bullets and they're fucking exhausted. So instead, you want to let them know how you are operating as an ally, what you are doing to try to make this better, and that you will support them in whatever ways you possibly can. So give them support and show them support, but don't ask them, hey, how are you? Because not fucking good, Katie. Not fucking good. That's one that I've heard pretty much universally. So make sure you check in on that. The 5th thing that I have learned is not to take offense. Sorry, this is the 4th thing. Not to take offense if I'm snapped at in any kind of way. Snapped at is a tough term, but I have learned that right now, my Black friends, colleagues, creators, and people in my life are, again, exhausted. So if they don't respond to something how they normally would, or they say something that is maybe a little more agitated towards you and you don't feel like you did anything, or whatever it is, they don't respond as quickly as you want, that's fine. Give them leeway. They're not going to be responding perfectly right now. And that might come in all different forms. So it doesn't really necessarily have to do with you. And that's cool and okay. Number 5, simply enough, all lives don't matter until Black lives matter. So if ever every person on this planet believes that Black lives matter, then all lives matter. And until then, there's no such fucking thing. Number 6, and this is a really important one. And I saw Rachel from The Bachelor. Rachel, I think her name is Lindsay. I didn't used to watch The Bachelor, but she was the first Black Bachelorette. I think she's the only Black Bachelorette. I don't even know if they've had a Black Bachelor, but Rachel Lindsay said, this is not a trend. So it's confusing because, well, it's not confusing, but it's a hashtag Black Lives Matter. But this is not a trend. This is not something that we can really pop in and out of, or that's cool, or that you want to, that's just something to wear on a t-shirt. This is a change in the way of life, and it needs to stay forever. It cannot be temporary. So this is not something that we're going to be talking about for a couple days and then we're going to stop. Of course, there is going to be a time again on this show and other shows where we start talking about movies and TV and music and pop culture and everything again. But we will always have room on this show, and platforms should always make room for Black Lives Matter, because until they do universally, that's very important. So it's not a trend. And it matters to remember that. And number 7 is to not share graphic or triggering imagery. It's something that we should all, as allies, you need to watch things that are horrific to watch. You have to watch the video of Ahmaud Arbery, or of George Floyd, or of Philando Castile, or of any of the footage that we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years. You should watch it because you need to know what reality looks like. However, sharing that video can be very triggering, because while allies need to watch that, Black people should be able to decide whether or not they want to view something that's that graphic and triggering when they've seen it before and it's not something they want to see. So we need to make sure that we're not sharing that stuff, and especially with not without a warning. You don't want to just be scrolling through your feed and all of a sudden you have to watch something like that. So that's something we don't want to do. And those are 7 of the things I've learned this week. And I would love to hear from you guys about things that you learned this week that you didn't previously know, or you did know but was just kind of confirmed this week. Let me know what you guys are learning, thinking, how you're growing, how you're educating yourselves. We also know that it's not okay to be not racist. You have to actively be anti-racist. And that's what we're doing here on the show today. So going to our next list, guys, which are ways to help moving forward. Here are things I'm going to do moving forward now, in a month, in a year. These are just things that we're doing moving forward, even when it's not a time of protest. These are things I'm committing to, and I would love for you guys to commit to also. I've got 7 things on this list. So I guess I had 7 on the checklist, 7 things I've learned, and 7 ways to help moving forward. The first one, hire Black people. Kind of period. End of sentence. I'm not saying don't hire people that aren't Black, but hire Black people. I've been learning a lot about systemic racism and the cycle that we need to stop, and why affirmative action is so important. But just because right now, the way it works starts with the education system. And if you come from a less affluent family because of what's happened in their past, because they've gone through this also, and you're going to public school and your school is not funded, your school is funded by property tax, it's going to have less teachers, less qualified teachers, less extracurricular activities. So then from that school, you're going to have a hard time going to a good college, which means that you're probably going to be less educated coming out of college, if you even are able to go to college, because it's challenging to afford that, especially with less options. So, what do we do? Well, you have to hire Black people anyway, because number one, A, it's the right fucking thing to do. B, when you are a company that doesn't have any Black people in your company, you are a worse company because you are missing out on so much knowledge and so much beauty and so much ability to think differently. So maybe they are lacking, maybe some people, maybe some Black people, if they have received a different education, are lacking in some areas that white candidates might be really strong in. But they are definitely strong. And again, this is vast generalization, but a lot of Black people will be strong in areas that white people are going to be really weak in. And so you need diversity in your companies. So when I am in a position where I can hire people for whatever I'm doing, if I'm working on a project or I'm hosting, and I'm producing, or in my movies, or whatever it is that I'm able to do in the future, you've got to hire Black people, and I will be doing so. Number two, give your platform to Black people. We have seen this over and over again now in the last week with, like Lily Reinhart, or what's the guy's name that everybody thinks like a heartthrob? He's like a hot white dude who I think is a singer or something. This is how out of it I am with the cool kids sometimes. I'll find him. His name is Shawn Mendes. Shawn Mendes doing the same thing where they're giving their Instagram to somebody for the day. And so those are great ways to lend your platform. But that doesn't always mean, if you're an influencer, maybe somebody just wants you to tweet something or post something or do something that you can lend your platform. Or if you work for a company, you can pitch the company lending their platform. Just make sure you're lending your platform, giving your platform as much as you can, whatever that platform is. Number three, work to eliminate racism from being normalized by not accepting it. So this is similar to what I talked about before, but this is how we are going to, if people who feel racist don't feel normal, they feel like they are the minority, that's what will stop it. But there's so much racism right now that they feel like a strong group. So you have to work to actively eliminate that and make them not feel normal, because it's not fucking normal and it's not okay. So there's that. Number four, support Black artists, businesses, etc. So there's been a lot of posts going around. You guys see people eating at Black restaurants, or Black owned restaurants, watching movies from Black producers and directors, buying music from Black owned stores or clothing from Black owned stores, makeup products, whatever it is that you are shopping for right now. If anything, look and see if you can shop from a Black owned store, food or otherwise. That's something that is really important, because that's how you can be supportive. And if you were going to buy that product anyway, why not show support in that way right now? Because if you're somebody who cannot donate, that's you still donating with money you were going to spend on something anyway. So that's a really great thing that you can do right now. Number five, teach your children and your family. I'm not a parent, so that's why this is ways to help moving forward. If I am a parent, this is going to be motherfucking something that is early on learned. And I'm going to talk to the school that my kids go to and the teachers and make sure this is being taught. And what isn't taught there, I'm going to teach at home, because we need to educate. We need to talk about slavery. It's fucking uncomfortable because of the atrociousness of it. We need to talk about the Tulsa Race Massacre because of the fucking disgusting things that have taken place. They need to know. The same way I was educated about the Holocaust, so that we knew that that could never happen again. Never forget. And we still need to go further with teachings of the Holocaust, because I'm from a very Jewish neighborhood, so we learned a lot about it. I hear a lot of my friends did not learn as much about it. But it's uncomfortable to teach kids about people dying. And we have to fucking do it anyway, so that they're disgusted and would never want to participate in anything like that. So all of the things that are happening right now, when I have kids, when you guys have kids, or if you already have kids, we need to teach them what's happening now and not steer them away, which is why I'm loving these youthful protests, because kids should be exposed to this from a young age, of how to help and how to be anti-racist. So that's a big one. Teaching starts and stops at the home. 6 things that number 6 for ways I'm going to help moving forward. I'm going to listen. I'm going to learn. And then I'm going to pass on that information, because this is something pretty universal as well right now. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but this is something that I'm hearing from all of my Black colleagues and friends. They want us to speak up. We are being asked to speak up. This is a time that, yes, is important to listen and learn, but then you aren't doing the final step if you're not speaking up. Everybody thinks if right now you are listening and you are learning, you need to pass that fucking information on and speak the fuck up. This is not a time to be silent. So you can speak up by doing any of those things on the checklist, but speak up, because whether you're uncomfortable or not, that's not about you. It's not the fucking point. So you want to make sure you speak up. It's I know I keep saying for all of these, it's a really important one. These are all really fucking important. They're all really fucking important. So that is number 6 and number 7 on here, of course. And I say I'm going to do this moving forward, and I'm going to do it forever moving forward, is vote. That's what you can do. When you are exhausted and you don't feel like it, and does my vote even really matter, and yada, 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 get the fuck up and vote, because otherwise you don't get to bitch. If you cannot vote because you are an immigrant, you're not of age, you are in jail, or any of those things, although I don't think that you're in jail watching the stream, but maybe, obviously then you can't vote. But if you are eligible to vote, then fucking vote. So that is number 7. Those are the 7 things on my checklist, the 7 things I've learned, and the 7 ways to help moving forward that I am committing to. And I hope that you guys do too. Thank you guys for letting me go through those and listening and trying to learn as well. Katie, our Katie, not shit Katie, says, from one Katie learning, listening, and trying to be an ally, been learning from my own queer history, and it helps be the kind of ally I want to have. Yeah, I think I think any of us who are minorities in any way, I do this with my Jewish history as well. I think that it's important to be able to empathize, because no, we don't know. If you are not Black, you do not know what it's fucking like to be Black. But you can use the part of your heart that knows what it's like to be discriminated against or profiled, or to have people say things to you that are homophobic, or for me, anti-Semitic. And you can use that to better understand their journeys and what they're going through. So that's an important one. And I'm glad you're able to look at yourself and realize that you can take things from your own history and apply that here and treat others the way that you would want to be treated when it comes to your minority or your what's your oppression. So definitely that. Demo in here, just looking at the chat. As a Black woman, thank you for taking the time to educate yourself on these issues. Love you, Roxy. Demo, thank you for being here and let us know what we missed. Because I'm sure I fucking missed a lot. And I've been missing a lot for the last 28 years. And time to wake the fuck up and not use it as an excuse that I didn't know. And you guys too, whatever age you are. I taught my 92-year-old grandma why it's not okay to say all lives matter. And she got it. So there's no age in which you can't fucking get this. There's no age and there's no limits. And I believe in you guys. And I know I'm preaching to the choir a lot here, but if I'm listening and then I'm teaching, and if you guys are listening and then you are teaching, then we're going to really make a fucking difference. We're going to really make a fucking difference. And it feels like it's working. Emmanuel Akinola, glad you're being an ally, Roxy. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Absolutely. I don't have a choice. What's going on is fucking wrong. And we have to do this. Jeremy says you have the best grandma on the planet. Being serious, if she can learn, we fucking all can. We all can, you know. She doesn't have any racism in her heart. She is like the most open, loving, wonderful person. So she was easy to teach. She just didn't know what all lives matter meant. But still, if she can learn, fucking anybody can. So yeah, going through it one more time, for anybody who missed it, I'm going to list them off really quickly. So 7 things on the checklist: donate, protest, social out, amplify Black voices, shut down racism. When you see or hear it, reach out to your Black friends to support them, sign petitions. Things that I've learned: different Black people have different beliefs. If one of your Black friends is okay with something, it doesn't mean that all Black people are okay with it. Quoting MLK can be offensive. Not to ask questions like, how are you during this time, to your Black friends. All lives matter. All lives don't matter until Black lives matter. Don't take offense if you are snapped at or spoken to differently during this time. This is not a trend, and do not share graphic or triggering imagery. And then ways to help moving forward from this day on: hire Black people, give your platform to Black people, eliminate racism from being normalized by not accepting it, support Black artists, businesses, etc. Teach your children or your family about what has happened in history and what's happening today. Listen, learn, and then pass that on. We're being asked to speak up and vote. Of course, vote. So those are the 7 things. And I appreciate you guys so much for, again, listening and being here. A lot of people in here saying vote. Yes, yes, yes. Agreed. Let's check out SD Gidney says, thanks for speaking out, young lady. It's also great to see you're supporting your friends and colleagues. I'm also an older Black woman. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. SD Gidney, thank you so much for being here. And you are so loved and appreciated here. And yeah, I'm of course, I'm an ally, and I'm going to continue to be in all of the ways that I've promised and more as I educate myself further and learn how best to help. And then I'm going to tell you guys things that I've learned, and we will keep that going. Again, Janine Bryce, Janine the Machine, if you guys are Schmodown fans, she is such a beast and amazing, beautiful and incredible, and a wonderful artist, both musically and in the fine arts, and she will be joining the show tomorrow. And again, if you guys, there are other people that you want to hear from, I will say that a lot of my Black friends and colleagues during this time have asked to not do interviews. They are exhausted and they don't fucking want to right now, and we have to respect that. So a lot of the suggestions that you guys have suggested, I've reached out to, and this just isn't the right time, which is fine. But continue to suggest them, and continue to suggest people of color in general. And I will have all different shapes and sizes and colors and religious beliefs and sexual orientations and genders and everything on this show in the future. But just let me know in the comments as we are getting out of here shortly. I do appreciate you guys being here. And again, on this later time, tomorrow we will be back at the normal time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So don't forget that we will be back to that. And then for Monday, same thing. Tuesday, I think the show time's going to change again, but we will be here, always changing. And right now, you guys know a lot of these changes are based off of my efforts are a lot elsewhere right now, but it's still important to do this show every day and make sure we're connecting and communicating and talking with each other. So Joseph says, Janine's so damn sexy and can sing. So true. She is so damn sexy and she can sing, which I absolutely love. Oh, she does these harmonies with herself that are sick. Also, my friend who I was hoping would Skype in from the protest. Let me see. It's very challenging to park. So she's still driving around trying to figure it out. So I don't know if we'll be able to do that today, but if not, hopefully one of these days so you guys can see what's going on. Although there's tons of footage everywhere, I just thought that might be a nice way to feel like we're protesting here, do a digital protest almost. We got to find a way to do that. And also, again, I want to do another fundraiser. I know a lot of channels are right now. And our first one went really well, but I saw Ben Goddard's $12,000 and I was like, we can do better. I don't know than Ben Goddard, but just in general, we can do better. We can up our game. All right. I don't think she's there yet, so I do think I'm going to jet. But thank you guys so much again for being here. Try to think about the checklist today and see which of those things you've done, and think about the things you've learned and the things you want to continue to learn and the ways that you are promising to help moving forward, and write those things down and hold yourself motherfucking accountable, because I'm saying them out loud on this stream here live publicly so that you guys are able to hold me to it and say, bitch, you said that you were going to vote. So did you? Because if you said it, you got to be held accountable. And yeah. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow live at the Roxy, 1 p.m. with Janine Bryce. And I hope you guys all join us, as hers is a voice that more than deserves to be amplified. And I'm so happy to do so. Adore you guys. I do want to give some shout outs because I haven't done that in a long time. So to anybody who wants one as we are getting out of here, shout out to our Katie Robinson, not Katie, but Katie is amazing. Emmanuel Akinola, Kate Van D, Jeremy Miller, Parties Jezadusin. Sorry, I always butcher that. Jake Yacovetta, Brandy Parker, Philip Gustafson, Demo Katabe, Joseph Ashley, George Pruitt. Emmanuel says, bitch, you said you were going to vote. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You guys got to hold me accountable. Chuck Caslow. To all of you guys, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Love you. And Rob K, Manny Gonzalez, Lewis Cox, Weston Ira. Hopefully I got to a lot of you guys who wanted these shout outs, and I will see you tomorrow live at the Roxy.